On the 15th of May 2024, a proud Mikel Arteta received the Knight's Cross from the Spanish crown in front of his family and closest friends. He was added to the Order of Isabella the Catholic, an honor only granted by the King of Spain for his services to the country. Over 200 years old, this honor is usually reserved for royal family members or political representatives for their connections to the country. However, it can also be awarded to those who excel in their chosen fields and build strong international relationships, representing Spain and the Spanish people in the most positive light. There's no doubt Arteta is a special football manager and deserving of this recognition, but it did make me wonder, what about that other Spanish manager in the Premier League, the one who has picked up 10 major trophies since moving to England? The one who nurtured Arteta for many years as his disciple and is arguably the greatest football manager of our generation. The truth is, that man would likely never have been seriously considered by Spain to be the recipient of this award, and for the same reasons, he would never have considered managing the Spanish national team.
Fútbol.
Mi vida.
Cultura.
Necesario para crecer.
Catalunya.
Mi país.
Guardiola's roots lie in Catalonia, nestled between the jutting peaks of the Pyrenees and rolling Mediterranean waves. The region is a tiny slice of paradise in the north of Spain. Well, actually, most people in this region wouldn't call themselves Spanish at all, and it definitely wasn't always paradise. Nearly 1,000 years of history have shaped the people in Catalonia. They have their own language, culture, and art. Their stamp can be seen pressed proudly everywhere, from art galleries and restaurants to the unfolding tactics on football fields in every corner of the world. Gaudi, Picasso, Salvador Dali, Iniesta, Xavi, Messi, Guardiola. These are just some of the influential people who were propelled onto the world stage by Catalonia and its unique position in the world. Unfortunately, at the heart of most art is struggle and pain, and for Guardiola and the Catalan people, the pain was caused by the very country they are surrounded by. But how did we get here? Why are the Catalan people and its productions unique to its surroundings? And why were they born out of a struggle against their Spanish compatriots? Catalonia is one of the 17 enclaves of Hispania, dating back to the historical Spanish region. Throughout history, they have set themselves apart from the other enclaves for a variety of reasons, oftentimes taking a stance against the common grain of the kingdoms which surrounded them. This would come with violent consequences, like the siege of Barcelona in 1713, where the people of the Principality of Catalonia, a self-governing region at the time, chose to support a new successor to the Spanish crown. 13,000 Catalans lost their lives, and they lost the right of self-governance, forcefully folded into the greater Spanish kingdom. Now, I can already hear you say, cool, but why would Pep Guardiola, the football manager, care about the Archduke Charles of Austria lifting the Spanish crown 300 years ago? But stick with me for a second. This isn't where Catalonia's independent spirit died. Between the 1700s and the 1900s, the region grew into an economic powerhouse as they experienced a renaissance after years of strife. During this time, the Catalans' culture, language, art, and distinct identity were truly solidified for generations to come. But this strong identity would be the exact target of an incoming storm, and the people of the region would have their culture pulled from under them. The entire region's forbidden pride would be hidden behind the thin veil of the FC Barcelona football kit. The team's kit, flag, and results became the symbol for independence when all else was taken away from the Catalans. On the eve of 16 March 1938, warplanes roared over what we know as the Camp Nou today. A bombing raid destroyed much of the stadium and FC Barcelona's offices. 3,000 people died. Weeks later, the entire Catalonia region was occupied by Franco's nationalist army as Spain's civil war finally spilled over into the region. A couple years earlier, a majority of FC Barcelona's first 11 had enlisted in the Republican Army to fight Franco's forces. During the 20s and 30s, Spain had devolved into a series of dictators taking charge of the country, and these nationalistic leaders did not see eye to eye with an autonomous region in the north of Spain. The Catalans had already sided with the Republican forces, and now they would feel the wrath of the dictator. All signs of Catalan symbolism were immediately banned. This included any flags, the speaking of the language, and the club had to remove the Catalan flag from their crest. Enforcement was cruel, and executions were not uncommon. Barcelona was forced into changing their name into Castilian Spanish away from their Catalan roots. At this time, FC Barcelona was already an established footballing force, having won a league title and multiple trophies. But for most Barcelona fans, the sport had taken a back seat to the ongoing political situation. The football club was a mask representing their distinct identity, and once again it was under attack. So what does this mean for Pep and his relationship to Barcelona, Catalonia, and the Spanish national team? When the young defender first appeared on the scene in 1990, he was a local boy playing for Barcelona's B team. That was until a certain man spotted him during a match. Legendary Dutch player and manager Johan Cruyff demanded the coach of the B team move Guardiola further up the pitch to see how he would react to being in the midfield, and you probably know the rest. If you've heard of FC Barcelona, chances are you've heard of Johan Cruyff. The greatest Dutch football player of all time, his influence was also felt beyond the pitch. Cruyff famously joined the team as a player in the 70s. As the best player in the world, his club Ajax Amsterdam wanted to sell him to Real Madrid, who were dominating Spanish football at the time. He refused the transfer, claiming he could never join a club associated with a dictatorship. Shocking the world, he joined FC Barcelona. As we've seen from history, being outspoken and bold was something that had burned the Catalans before, but the arrival of Cruyff began to fuel the fires of Catalonia's self-identity once again. He was the first Barcelona captain to wear the Catalan flag as his armband. When Catalan politicians were arrested by Franco's police, he sent a signed photograph to their jail cell with a message reading, "See you at a Barca match again soon." He also publicly stated his wish for the people of the region to vote for independence, the sort of statement unheard of in the years leading up to his arrival. His performances as a player on the pitch would elevate the club into a level of success not seen before, but his influence as a manager would take everything to another level. He continued to identify with the people and became an advocate for their rights, culture, and customs, preferring the development of youth at La Masia over purchasing big-name players from around Spain. He wanted homegrown talent, like Pep Guardiola. Talent that the people could get behind. If their homegrown Catalans could dominate the world game, what could they achieve as an independent nation? FC Barcelona essentially became the national team of the region, and every other Spanish club was their biggest rival. Guardiola was a product of Cruyff's philosophy. A local Catalan boy, he was a resistance fighter through the power of football. When Guardiola won the European Cup under Cruyff in 1992, he held the trophy in front of the fans in Barcelona, exclaiming, "Citizens of Catalonia, you have the cup here now," referencing a famous Catalan politician, Josep Tarradellas, who had said a similar line on his return from exile after evading Franco's hitman. In 2015, Guardiola famously recorded a video in support of the independence referendum. The organizer of the referendum is currently wanted by Europol and charged with rebellion by the Spanish government. It's not looking good for Pep's relationship with Spain. I guess a fair question would be, why did Pep Guardiola play for the Spanish national side? He has been on record stating he wouldn't have if there had been another option. And as a football manager, he'll have plenty of options to choose from.
Nosotros aquí, nosotros somos de un sitio, de un país llamado Cataluña ahí arriba, y estamos ahí. Nosotros pintamos poco en todo esto.
I really appreciate you watching, and if you enjoyed it, please don't forget to leave a like. There's so much more to this story that I wasn't able to add into the video, and I didn't want the video to become too long. So if you have any thoughts on this topic, feel free to leave them in the comments below. If you want to see more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And have a great day. Goodbye.